Good day, podcast community. Pete Kane here, podcast Pete, and certified high performance lifestyle coach. Well, we always talk about generating leads, creating the demand for your service or product because it creates cash flow and a thriving community. Today, I'm going to give you a little bit different twist. Still demand, still freedom, because time freedom is crazy good with Tesla. And you're going to see this. Hopefully, I can spark an interest in you to not only look at the cover, but inside the book, what's in there. So you can do a better job on pattern recognition, because that's what it takes for what we do and for what Tesla is doing in the marketplace. Let's get started. First off, make this a little bit bigger. We talk about time freedom. That's what I'm going to speak specifically to, and it'll be wealth freedom too, because if you choose to see the patterns that are developing, you will have wealth freedom. I've leaned into Tesla for probably 3 years. Had a chance to rent a cyber truck to take my family and my granddaughter on a date and have it the most amazing experience. Top 5 of my life of just experiences. It's like Disney World times 100. That's how powerful that day was, from 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 o'clock at night. And I'll share a little bit about that as I go along. But I want you, if I can pique your interest into the saving of time for the first time in years, especially the last 4 years, where when I drive, I have to be totally silent, totally focused on everything that's going on in the car. Don't like to drive at night, and I'm very sensitive to sounds, horns, and things like that. And I drive one-handed with a knob, which I can drive just fine. But if I need to sneeze, that can be a problem. So I'm always on edge, so to speak, when I'm out driving in the Atlanta traffic. That day, it was the most enjoyable transportation day of my life. Nothing close. I hit a button and it drove by itself. And because it's so big, I felt like I was driving a tank like a Porsche. That's the safety that I had in my mind, because I had my family and my granddaughter in there. And driving at night on a back road, because I was way in Paulding County, almost in Alabama, and leaving at 7:30 at night, dark side streets, coming back into the city, there would have been a mess of tension. I wouldn't have done it if I had to do it on my own. But all I did was push a button and watch the Tesla Cybertruck drive with the most incredible precision. I could enjoy it. I could talk to my granddaughter. She was fooling around with Grok and talking to it, having conversations with it, looking up games and doing all kinds of fun things. And I could be engaged, not focused on the stress of driving and making sure everything, that nobody hit a horn or that the lights would blind me. So I want to share with you this, because if you understand where Tesla is going, not only could you invest in there, and this is not investment advice, this is just gut feeling. I remember when Amazon, I thought, and Apple even, man, there's two good companies that have a good long-term effect, because I would use the phone and go, man, everybody's going to have one of these. And at the time, I didn't have the financial resources to invest in it. Same with Amazon. You mean I can get things within 2 days? Anything? sometimes then next day, now within hours. Speed is everything. And I thought, man, this is going to be a winner. But again, I didn't have the financial resources to invest in it. But I'm going to share this. So I want you to enjoy it. Hold on here. Let me see if I can get this right. Yeah, I got to change. Hold on. I got to remove this. All right. Then I add this. Okay. Here we go. All right. I got to back it up. Hold on here. I'm in the wrong slide. I was reviewing these. Okay. So when you look at this, what was the title of my Why Tesla, My Choice for a Bright Future? Future impact. Future impact. And that's what it did. The hard asset moat. Why capital intensity is Tesla's hidden weapon. They don't give dividends. They keep reinvesting. You don't see them advertising and spending millions and millions on advertising. They depend on me to share the story, and I will gladly. I drove one yesterday because I'm looking at getting one. Amazing. A smaller one because it was a Model Y. And Model Y? Yeah, Model Y. And just hit the button and drive. There was one area right where I was driving, and there was a car coming. It obviously looked at the car, first was going to go, then it stopped and let the car make, because it kind of sped up a little bit, the car. So it obviously was deciding, do I go or not? And it stayed, but it started to go, and then it said, nah, too close for comfort. Now, if I'm driving, I might have gone, and maybe it wouldn't have been as successful. It would have, but maybe not. That's not a software update. That's a decade-long rebuilding. Billions of miles have been fed into their AI. So all the cars, when they get updates, it's based on everybody's driving. That's why the cameras can be so accurate and why it's already better than a human. Look at what Lemonade, the insurance company now in, I think, Oregon, Florida, and Texas, I think. There's three states, 2 or 3 states. They have the data from Tesla. Their rates will be 50% less. And I know I was looking at the rates, 50% less when they come to Georgia than traditional insurance company. Because what has happened in insurance is, because we're distracted, we're looking at our phones, we're texting, and we're crashing. And when we crash, we got to pay for it. And so rates have been going up steadily, like 15% a year or something ridiculous, because everybody's reckoning. And when you repair a fender bender, now it's not $500, it's $5,000. So that affects your rates. Okay. All right, hold on here. Let me go to the next one. Vertical integration as a fortress. Look at how it is integrated. We try vertical integration. We are the lowest cost podcasting company that create content than anybody, because our costs are low, because the cost of living in the Philippines is significantly less than what we have here in the US. So when you're delivering value and you don't have geographic borders anymore, you can afford to go where the value is, so you can offer the most value to your clients. I have a person, she doesn't like to do anything outside of the local market. Well, her costs are significantly higher. It's not about, it's where you're tapping into labor. And if somebody is significantly lower, you're going to lose the business. Just like robo-taxis going to change the way we get around. They'll be significantly lower than Uber. Uber, I think, is between $2 and $4 a mile. They'll be about a buck and a half. So when you have that big of a gap, people will go to the low cost, high value offer. So vertical integration, the asset light standard. So I'm not going to explain this, but I just want, all of it, to understand how they're vertically integrated. The AI all-in-one stack. You have your customer, hold on here, your AI chip, your Doge supercomputer, your Optimus robots in the factories, your Megapack energy blocks, and feeding into your gigafactories. So when Tesla is producing, about every 25 seconds, it's coming off the line. It doesn't take 25 seconds to make it, but they can produce at a clip of 25 seconds. Every car is coming off the line. When you have that kind of capacity and you're scaling like robotaxi, and I think eventually it's going to be down to, 20 seconds, 10 seconds, whatever it is. You can produce 1 million cars faster. So you can scale faster than anybody because you have vertical integration and you have the ability to scale. The top 10 titans, revenue contacts. This is important to understand because it's not valued like some of the other stocks because of the revenue it generates. Tesla's one of the lowest here at, 98 billion. Amazon is 700 billion. So when you look at this, you have to see what the long-term potential is. They are gearing up for the future. Look around. Notice how many Teslas are on the highway. I think last year was 1 million cars they produced Model-wise. There's, I don't know how many millions out there. In the factory in Texas, California, I think they compared it to, it was like 580,000 they can produce in Shanghai because they have a little different structure and they have an ecosystem right around and they have the fact they can produce up to 1 million. So depending on how you vertically set up, and that's the way Tesla's setting up everywhere, is to have that speed, that vertical integration. So you give up your dividends, you give up your cash flow at the beginning because you're investing in the future. And if you understand the long-term nature of it, and for me personally, it's time savings. If I know that I don't have to be stressed when I drive, I will be better because I'm going to get to the place where I'm going, not stressed out, but enjoying the ride, not having to look at everything around me for every crazy driver. I can depend on the Tesla to do a much better job than me. So I arrive less stress, better. And if I have to multitask, I could because it's driving itself. $1 trillion spend spree. This is just an idea of how this AI is. The cumulative CapEx and the R&D investment since 2016. Amazon leads the pack with $1 trillion. Google at 600 million. Microsoft at 450 billion. And Meta or Facebook at 450 million. Intel 200 million. Apple 300 million. And Tesla and Nvidia down at the bottom because they're all looking for the future. They don't have to gear up as much as these other companies because of their model. Despite the narrative that Tesla burns cash, it has spent a fraction of what Amazon and Google have deployed. Tesla and NVIDIA are the most frugal yet disruptive of the large markets, AI and energy. Defining capital efficiency, the Titans metric, revenue over CapEx and R&D. So you have your factory and equipment, that's your CapEx, your R&D or your brains, what are you investing in the future? And then that generates your revenue and your dollars. So the lag effect, money spent today on AI clusters or robo-taxi infrastructure creates a pending value bucket that does not generate revenue immediately. But if you're a long-term person like we are disrupting the normal lead generating system, and we're positioned long-term because once you create a key person of influence, it doesn't go away. You're not spending every month on Google ads. You create that digital profile that stays. It doesn't go away. So you're constantly building it as opposed to recreating it every month. Okay. The spaghetti chart, efficiency trends. This is just looking at, and again, I haven't studied this as much, but I am interested in the trends. I'm interested in seeing the patterns. So when I'm learning, I'm not only am I learning before I teach you, I'm learning while I teach you. So I get a better feel for it. So when you look at the AI boom, or if you look at revenue per dollar of invested capital, you can see NVIDIA and Apple are high. Apple's basically flatline. They haven't really captured the potential of AI. Maybe because of the leader, Tim Cook, he's kind of like Ballmer, stock value, but no innovation. And that happens after an innovator comes somebody that just wants to maximize shareholder value. The next person could be probably will be an innovator. But when you look at this chart, you have big tech, heavy spend, they're down lower. Tesla, you can see where they are and where the potential is when you look at how people are investing and what they're getting for their dollar. Okay. Trend analysis, bloat versus discipline. The bloat, big tech, Amazon, Google, and Intel. Efficiency trending down, spending massively, 120 billion a year on data centers with diminishing immediate returns versus the discipline current investment phase, A14 and lithium, robo-taxis, the trend from bottom to number 2. They're going to be trending up where the others are trending down because of the nature of the business that they're in. Okay, the lag effect, pricing in the future. So what you have to look at is current spend. You have your pipeline to reservoir, your future yield. When you look at robo-taxi, batteries, Optimus bots, clusters, energy clusters, and you look at this, what's going to happen is the future is going to be bright because they're spending enough, but they're putting it into these businesses that are going to severely increase or going to greatly increase. Current efficient metrics push long-term R&D. When this bucket activates, the revenue to spend ratio curves vertically, like the NVIDIA effect. All of a sudden, overnight, it just exploded. And that's because of their model. Tesla read from corporate strategy to consumer choice. Now, when you look at the SSD dilemma, and I've just had a conversation with the sales guy. They did a one-time $8,000 payment. That's going away the 14th. So if you're listening to this video, the 14th of February, after that date, they won't have the one-time payment. You're going to be a subscription model. So you either factor in the subscription into the financing, but you won't have an option of stopping it when you're in the financing, but you can go month to month, but you have to pay $99 a month. There's no $8,000 one-time payment. And my friend who has the Cybertruck has a lifetime of FSD. So that was given. Early adopters always benefit in anything. Pricing will rise as the capacity improves. Always does. Early adopters always get the advantage. Then when it's obvious, the price will be higher. That's just naturally. Same with Bitcoin, same with anything. The break-even matrix, it's all about opportunity cost. When you look at the monthly price, so you have, if you invest the $8,000 at $99 a month, the potential to be at $199 a month. So you have the ability with what value do you bring? What does the consumer place on the value of some car that drives by itself? A lot. Safety, stress in my case, and safety. I will pay a lot more because I want that. And this just gives you an idea of the ROI. I'm not going to go into detail on this. Visualizing the payback period. When you look at the payback period, 8 years. So the no-brainer zone, that's the first part. The decision zone, that's 3 to 4 years. Break even to 3 years. The decision zone is 3 to 4 years. The subscriber zone, break even at 7+ years. So this gives you, as soon as the unsupervised FSD releases, the math flips instantly from subscriber to buyer, visualizing the payback period. Okay. All right. Unsupervised value jump. The massive value jump is when you can be on your phone and sleep for the entire ride. The massive value jump is when you can be on your phone and sleep while you drive. Then, wow, instead of getting on a plane and flying 4 hours and spending whatever it is, $1,000 for getting a flight at the last minute, get in your FSD Tesla, go to take a nap, and it'll arrive at your destination. That's what's coming. That is what's coming. The robo-taxi, we'll see that in the near future. It's already in Austin, California, Florida, and it's gonna hit fast, and you're gonna be amazed because a lot of people aren't interested in it. You don't live in this bubble that people that follow it. But when it becomes obvious, that's when everybody will know. The decision framework, financial factors, time of ownership, keep cars for 4 years, opportunity cost, you can beat a 10% ROI, subscribe, leasing, always subscribe, don't buy software for a rented car, finance it after paying interest on software, favors subscription, insurance. Does FSD lower your premiums? It does. Lemonade's coming out. They're in 2 or 3 states. They're 50% less for insurance because they get the data from Tesla and they can see how safe it is. So they're just based on risk because the insurance rates have gone up dramatically in the last 5 years because more accidents, more costly repairs. They have to pass it on to you. But if you can show the safety, less accidents, less of a risk factor, you're going to be able to reflect that in your price. Price hikes tolerance. If 99 becomes 190, will you cancel? If yes, lock in at 8,000 now. That's just the person that put this together. Okay, decision framework. Product versus future risk. Hardware risk, total loss risk. The insurance rarely reimburses software. Transferability, and this is talking about going from FSD at 8,000 to a subscription model. The robo-taxi is the lotto ticket. The upside case, if your specific car enters the robo-taxi fleet, it transforms from a depreciating liability to a cash flowing asset because you can make money when you want to. That lets the asset grow because it's generating revenue. The possibilities alone justify the $8,000 purchase for speculators. So if you want that and you want to be able to have FSD for life, then that would be an option you might take. Conclusion, efficiency wins. Same thing we do in our business, working on the freedoms. Efficiency, we can get you automation. We can get you creating content, courses, podcasts, put in your digital profile in play so it always is growing, not the case where you're depending on, say, Google ads and the price of things, what people are bidding for. When I was doing digital marketing and running campaigns, 1 month you did the same thing the next month, but you had dramatically different results. And that's what can happen because it just is always changing, always changing. It forces people to spend within constraints. You force them to maximize every dollar. That is the Tesla discipline. And that's what our discipline is too. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed it. I'll bring you more of these educational moments where if it can help you with time freedom, wealth freedom, travel freedom, location freedom, health freedom, or creative freedom, we'll bring it to you. So let's see, book a clarity call. Go to pk.me/clarity. If you want to enjoy the freedoms we talk about, be a part of community, increasing your demand for your product or service, and you want to know how you can implement it in your business, we can schedule a clarity session. Go to pk.me/clarity. Ooh, I didn't even have the QR code up there. Hold on here. All right. To join our community, you can go to this QR code, and that will enable you to get the $400 worth of value for my two most popular courses, High Performance Habits Mastery and Journaling for Personal Freedom. So for those that want to schedule a clarity session, you can, let me see, I'll put the QR code up there. Just changed it. So if you want to schedule a clarity session, go ahead and scan the QR code or go to pk.me/clarity. Ask a few questions where you're stuck in your business, and I'll help you get unstuck and release the freedoms that are possible, or at least give you a roadmap of the road ahead. All righty. It's a nasty winter day, so I'm creating content. And I hope you enjoyed it. Love to have your feedback. If you have any questions, feel free to put it in the comments. I answer these questions. So be bold.